Hi, it's Paige Hale again. I'm going to introduce Module 3 to you guys. I think Module 3 is really great. It really expands upon the foundations that we went over in Module 2. This one is titled The Science of Psychology. So very briefly in my last video, I talked about, just skim the top of the science of psychology. So this whole module will look at that. I really like this module. This module has some things in it, some topics that have stuck with me ever since I was an undergraduate many, many years ago. I think you guys might be really interested. Some of the things you're going to do in this module, number one is learn about psychological research. And what does it mean, peer-reviewed research? How do we make sure that research lacks bias? What's a variable? How do we deal with hypotheses in psychology? The whole argument of causation versus correlation. Those are some of the things we're going to talk about. Just applied research. Because in psychology, why do we do research? It's because we want to know, what internal states affect behavior. And then, or even just behavior in general, even when we don't really know what internal states might be at play. And we want to extrapolate that research, ultimately, generalize it to improve the human experience. Even research with lab animals, which is very controversial, is meant to ultimately improve our lives as human beings. So those are some of the things that this is going to talk about. Some really cool assignments. Now, I say they're really cool because I'm a psychologist and I think this stuff is cool. But if you don't, bear with us and just do your best. One of the things is you're going to look at peer-reviewed journals. You're going to get a dig into those journals, pick out articles, look over them, kind of look at the kinds of things that psychologists are, contemporary psychologists are exploring. So if you're interested in education, look more at educational psychology or school psychology. If you're more interested in counseling, maybe marriage and family counseling or cognitive behavioral therapy, all of these different things, but you'll be able to dig into that and find some cool stuff. And you'll work on citing in APA, which is the American Psychological Association format. It's the style guide, and it's really important that you do your best on that because so many fields use APA format. And as you go on to grad school, I've now been in graduate school for 2 different fields, and both of them use APA format. So really kind of start thinking about that and being serious about that. You're going to learn about theories and principles underlying, can't talk, psychology. And let's see, some of the coolest things. And like I said, as a psychologist, I think these are great. You're going to learn about 2 very, very famous studies. One is the Yale prison experiment. I know, that sounds crazy, huh? By a psychologist named Philip Zimbardo. And this study was done in the 1970s, okay? And then another one, which is the Milgram, Stanley Milgram was the psychologist's name, obedience study. And it was done, I believe, in the 1960s. Ooh, off the top of my head, go figure as I'm recording this video. But I believe it's 1960s. And both of these studies are significant. One, because they really reveal a dark side of human nature. But also, these studies have come under scrutiny and are pretty much 2 of the most infamous studies in all of psychology because of ethical considerations. That the individuals who were studied, who gave consent for the study, but didn't really know what they were going to be getting into, were really caused major distress by being a part of the study. And there are a lot of ethical issues there. So that'll be something we'll probably discuss. We're going to talk about, like I said, animal research, some of the controversies with that. So ethical treatment of animals, ethical treatment of any human research participant. And there's as a result of these two studies and many others, you may have heard in, in the past, there have been a lot of, you know, um, unethical research done with individuals, either infecting them with illnesses, if you're looking more at the medical side of it, so many, the syphilis studies and that sort of thing. But they brought about what's called the IRB, which is the Institutional Review Board, and that's a federally mandated office that each university has to have. And if any psychologist, any professor wants to do research with human subjects, there was a little fly, you have to go through the IRB and you have to fill out very specific paperwork and basically show that if your study could be cause issues to your participants, how you're going to protect them and how you're going to let them know in advance what they might be going through so that they can truly give informed consent. So it's really important. And I actually have a study right now that I have submitted to the Institutional Review Board at my university. Fingers crossed, I won't have to make any big changes, but that's an important thing. And that's even, and my research is just surveys. But I still, because it's going to be given to human subjects, I have to go through that. So I hope you enjoy the science of psychology, and I hope it spurs some passion in you and some great discussions. So good luck and enjoy.